Homeschool for beginners. Are you ready? 25-year homeschool veteran, 5 kids, coaching homeschool families for over a decade. And if you're brand new to homeschooling, I want you to know I can hear your heartbeat from here. I know it's overwhelming. I know you're scared. I know you're nervous that you're going to mess up your kids, and you're probably spending way too much time looking for the perfect curriculum for grade and whatever grade that your kids are. I'm going to encourage you to do a couple things. Number one, in the link below or in the descriptions, there is a link to the 3 stages of homeschool video that I just put out. This is what has just come to me after 25 years of homeschool. What does that mean? I had to get all the way to the end before I could see it all clearly. The foundation stage, where you're teaching your kids to read and to understand their numbers and to replace the toilet paper roll. The end, where they're going to be leaving home to go to school, trade school, start an entrepreneurial adventure or whatnot. And in between, what you imagine homeschooling to be. So you need to understand these 3 stages of homeschool, and it's gold. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm telling you because it took me 25 years to uncover this gem of information that will help you stand in confidence as you teach your kids how to read, as you teach your kids to know their numbers and to count, and then to enjoy the process of discovering and learning, and then to launch them successfully in life. I know you probably are looking for a quick printout with a bunch of links that will tell you the magic formula to homeschool your kids so that they're successful. There isn't one. The reason there isn't one, and I don't want you to lose heart, and if you're with me so far, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. If you would like a copy of my book, Homeschooling from the Inside Out, that link is below as well. What I can tell you is that there's no magic formula, because your kids are totally different than my kids. And if you have more than 2 kids, you're going to know that one kid is likely very different than the other kid. That means that you're going to have to put on your creative cap as you're educating them. But I don't want you to feel like you are wandering aimlessly through the mud trying to find your way. People overcomplicate educating kids. They really do. It's not that hard, especially today. Today, you are watching this on a computer or a smartphone that is more powerful than the computers they used to put us on the moon back in 1969. It's ridiculous. We have access to everything that we need. So instead of worrying about which curriculum and how many hours a day we should be teaching language arts versus science, we should be giving our kids the foundations so that they can learn how to read and do basic math. Then we should delight in learning, which is kind of my sweet spot. It's kind of my specialty. I absolutely love this rainbow side of homeschool. And then once they get to be 11, 12, 13, you start to be able to see a little bit of a glimmer of what they're going to be drawn to in their future. And that's when you can start to really double down and get them prepared to launch into their future. I don't want you to lose hope. The first year of homeschooling is hard for almost all of us. There are exceptions. Maybe it's your best friend. There are exceptions that just pick up homeschooling and their kids are always clean and pressed, and they put out these amazing projects, and they're articulate. They read by the time they're 18 months old, and they're ready to have like a multi-million-dollar business by the time they're 11. Yeah, those were not my kids. My kids were delayed readers. They were delayed with their not their gross motor skills, their fine motor skills. And they caused me to lose sleep for many years while I worried about whether or not I was messing them up. But I wasn't. I was sowing into their hearts. I was my husband and I, concentrating on their heart, on their character, on their attitude, teaching them how to learn, how to find help when they bumped into problems. And at the end of the journey, they have either all launched or are in the process of launching right now. We have a historian, a screenwriter, a musician, a mathematician, scientist, and a someday Olympic rower. And he will go on to do some kind of art and artistic endeavor because he just can't not. My phone right now is being held by one of his handy creations because he can't sit still. Homeschool. Don't overthink it. When you're in the beginning stages, you need to give yourself a solid year to go through the whole cycle, because there's this whole, what does it mean to homeschool for your family? It's going to be different. I was just talking to a homeschooler on the phone yesterday while I was walking. That is something that I have for you. If you want to be able to pick my brain for 15, 20 minutes, I will put a link to my calendar, and you can book a time with me and we can chat homeschooling. But I was chatting with this homeschool mom, and she's coming into her second year of homeschool, and she's explaining all of the stuff that she's picked out for her kids. And my heart just starts to beat faster and faster and faster, because it's not about the stuff. It's not about the curriculum. It's about how you approach learning. It's about how you equip your kids for learning. And it's an incredible adventure. I've helped so many homeschool families establish their master homeschool goals, identify heart issues that their kids need to work on, and teach them how to address those issues in a fun and creative way while still protecting their child's dignity and their own sanity. This homeschool thing is not for the faint of heart, but it's not because you can't handle it. It's because this whole world will be screaming loudly at you that you should be putting your kids in public school. And I'm telling you that kids that fall in love with learning live a very different life than kids that spend their childhood in a classroom for 8 hours a day. So beginning homeschool, you've got this. Check the link for all the goodies, and I will see you soon.